theme. Yes, I... Thalmor Radio. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Thalmor Radio. Yeah, he's coming at you from the top. Oh no, no, he won't stop. Thalmor Radio. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Thalmor Radio.
Thalmor Radio. Lysander says, ask for itinerary next time. You were off. It said he was offline, so I didn't. But beyond that, there's not much to talk about, anyways. Like, I checked the forums, and it's like there's just nothing. There's nothing going on past 2 weeks. Shit is dead as hell. GOO internal stuff. I do not. Gods of Orbis. Okay, here's my take on Gods of Orbis. Gods of Orbis is a blasphemous alliance name, and it was destined to fail as a result. Okay? So it's over. Jed says Cat is being very needy. You would also probably be needy if your skull got caved in. Okay, to be fair. Although I understand the cat's recovered from then. Shit do be crazy. Okay, I just want to talk about. So I mentioned, if you were paying attention to this server at the beginning of the year, I made like this cringe long post about how I'm trying to like do more in real life, and I want to say I've been making good progress on that. I went to the county fair a couple weeks ago. I'm doing this family reunion tomorrow. A bunch of my friends, not just the usual ones, but some other ones, are coming over to my house tomorrow. And then Tuesday, we're going to a different county fair. So grass touching is happening. It's accelerated, making good progress. So I'm happy about all that. Yeah, doing pretty well. Am I going to eat the grass? Yes. I'm a cow. What's that Doja Cat song? Bitch, I'm a cow. I'm not a cat. I don't say meow. Okay, so I'm going to. Last time I tried to touch grass, I ran into a dead end on the woods 5,000 to the trail. All right, so here's the thing. I made an announcement about it, but I'll bring it up here as a follow-up. I've partnered with a guy named MDM, who I'm pretty sure is listening. Is he? Yes. He's got like a Poland ball profile picture. So we're doing a poker tournament. Okay, 50 million to enter, 500 million pot. The game will probably be. So MDM is doing the game. He's matching up people with similar like times to be available. So the game will be sometime after the 10th, but likely this month. So $50 million entry fee, online poker. Who's interested? Type 1 in chat if you're interested. And you haven't already indicated. Axley. Okay, MDM, you should DM Axley right now to get his info. Make a chess tournament. We can do that. What Lysander said, if you're interested, but you don't want to type 1 in chat because you're too cool, just message in MDM about it, and he will set you up straight. Just like a conversion camp, he will make you straight. Only if it's strip poker. I mean, nothing stops you from taking off your clothes like at your house as you play, to be fair. Like you can like lose and like take off your shirt and no one's gonna notice. Kills Bob says Ron trying to take over Thalmoria. I see. I don't think that's happening. I doubt that's happening. Um, okay, Listener gave me like some topic stuff. You haven't talked about Skull and Bones becoming part of Midgard yet, and I don't know if you commented on one and longer being Cindy FA. Yeah, I didn't talk about these things because they don't matter, to be honest. Skull and Bones was like a micro that I think got mad that we hit them because their leader, their Pim Pico said something in wrong that was funny, and their leader like freaked out on him, and that was really funny because Pim Pico is so harmless. That was funny. That's all I know Skull and Bones for is we hit them, and their leader got mad at Pimpinko and Ron. Um, Commented on Wanna no longer being Cindy FA. Yeah, I imagine. I don't care. He was FA for a long time. I think he's a good FA guy, but I just don't think it's. I don't think FA has been working out for Syndicate lately, and maybe that's not Wanna's fault, but it's like they need a shake up, and so I imagine this is part of it. You know, does the Syndicate even really have allies anymore? Let me look. Treaty Web. The Legion. That's it. Yeah. So like, I don't know. Like they had allies with what was it? Paradise, I think, or Requiem? No, Paradise. They had Paradise. They had Cataclysm. Then they determined that they were actually too cool for Cataclysm and Paradise. So when that treaty got activated, they just said no, we're not fighting. LOL. So then Eclipse took them in, but then Eclipse kicked them to the curb, and now it's like, the Legion is decent, but like, I don't know, not the best spots right now. I said this. I said this when the Syndicate didn't honor the treaty with Cataclysm. I said that like who really wants to be allies with them anymore? And people were like, "There's tons of people who want to be allies with them." Yeah, where are they? Okay, seems like to me Eclipse just like uses the Syndicate as like a cheap whore. To be honest, to kick him to the curve so quickly after the first L, like. Anyways, um, what else is there to talk about? Um, I wanted to touch on this. Isn't in the itinerary, but I've had some meditations here. By meditations, I mean I've thought deeply about something. I don't do the Buddhist kind of kind of meditation. I do the European style sit in the library and ponder deeply kind of meditation. And so I've been thinking about the Knights Templar. And I've been thinking about our war with the United UMOD, um, UU, and I'm trying to determine what's the metaphysical reality of the war. And so the question is, we're still fighting them. The Knights Templar is still at a state of war with the United UMAD. As far as I know, there's been no peace talks. And the question is, who's winning the war? So I actually want to take a poll right now. Um, oh fuck, I don't want a super reaction. That's bad. Uh, so vote now. Who's winning the war? Is KT winning the war or is the United Umad winning the war? Vote now in the chat. Okay, so overwhelmingly, people suspect that KT is winning. Some people think that United Umad is winning, and I'm not making fun of them. Just because they're in the minority doesn't mean that they're wrong, even though okay, more people voting for you. So I thought about this because it's like because if the United UMAD's goal was to fuck our rebuild, then in a way they've been partially they've won because they did delay our rebuild by about a week and a half. Our rebuild would have been about a month. It's been delayed about another week and a half, or maybe even 2 weeks. So they are successful, I guess. But then it's like, but let's dig deeper because they've heard our rebuild. But what's the other tangible consequences of the war? And on KT, I can't really think of any. Um, I can think of benefits. One thing is that our squirrels, our little members, our little babies, they're getting some war experience. Milcom's been working with them, coordinating attacks and stuff. Like good war experience. So that's pretty fucking awesome. I'm in a cave. Quiet person. Okay. Hello? Am I in a cave still? Am I still in a cave? I'm very quiet. What? This is confusing. Yeah, so my microphone, like the cable is really fucked, and so I have to align it a certain way for it to work. And I think finally the cable is giving out. So that's why the light's on though, so I think it's okay. Buy a cable. I'll buy you a cable. So I've been thinking about what so UU has kind of won the war because they did delay our rebuild by about a week to 2 weeks, whereas normally it'd be a month. So, 25% to 50% extra time for the rebuild. So that's kind of a W for UU. But there's some tangible realities of the war that I think change that metric some. So one of them is that our newbies have been able to get some war experience, which I think has been very good. Milcom has been coordinating with them and stuff. Um, um, and otherwise, our alliance is continually just fine. Like KT has like a bunch of allies now that we really like. It's all this is cope and seethe. Meanwhile, over at the United UMAD, like number one, like United UMAD are very dedicated because they purposely stayed low infra to stockpile nukes and missiles to like hit us, and we've been able to spy away all those nukes and missiles. But like they don't make a lot of money, and what little money they did make, they poured into these nukes and missiles. So like here we are months later, so they're even more broke than they used to be. They've lost, I think, maybe a third of their members, and they have like no allies. The only ally is like Camelot. So am I seriously quiet? I'm trying to speak up. I don't know what the fuck the deal is. I'm okay. Cajun's a retard. Thank you. I'm very insecure. I'm very insecure. Okay, so um, yeah, I think actually KT is winning the war because we're doing just fine, but they're broke as hell and they're losing members and they have no allies. We got a hell of allies. So, yeah, that's what I think about it. Although they did win the FA game because they did kind of mog like Mbaku and like Denison pretty hard, I think, on the forums. Um, but we win in every other way. So, okay, time to try to bring Darth Ataxia on. So Starfuse was going to come on to talk about these peace terms that House Stark wants with Carthago. And Starfuse then DM'd me later that night. It was like, actually, I can't make it because I forgot I had stuff to do. So I said, okay. And Darth Ataxia is coming on in his place. He told me to let him know when I'm ready for him. So I DM'd him. Might take him a few minutes to see it. Hopefully, he will end up coming on. I'm going to go get a drink. I'll be right back in like 15 seconds. Hello, I am back once again. Right back means 5 minutes? No. No, right back means like right back. I was getting a water. I haven't had a drink in like 2 months since early May. And even then, that was me just finishing off what little was left, like 2 bottles. It wasn't even. It was like one full drink between the 2 bottles. They both were very low. I was going to drink. I forgot. I forgot my sentence. Never mind. Darthataxia says he has 15 minutes. Okay, where is he? Darthataxia, invite to speak. I haven't. Hello, friend. How are you?
Hello, I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm doing good. So I'm gonna get straight to the chase because I understand time is limited. House Stark has proposed terms of peace to Carthago. Carthago went to the forums with them, and now everyone is kind of dunking on House Stark. Uh, is this a correct assessment of the situation?
That does appear to be what's happening. Yeah.
So these terms are very unpopular with like everyone. Everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, this is terrible." Um, that's not good, right? Because then people are going to you. So, what exactly was the mindset within House Stark when these terms were drafted?
So, with a few of the terms, our primary goal was to uh, try something new with terms that hadn't been done before. For example, the big one that, of course, everybody's been talking about is that food term, where we were going to require Carthago to not produce food for a period of time. Um, that obviously was a bit too high of a stretch for this situation. So that term, of course, is not on the table anymore. But we're also trying for reps, which I don't think have been seen in anything beyond a minor conflict for quite a while, to my recollection. I could be wrong on that, but our goal was basically to try and push those because we think it's warranted in this situation and because I think it'll help benefit the political movement in the game. A lot of the time, in my opinion, when you end in just white peace, it's not very satisfying for either party, except for the party who you could argue lost, because they don't really lose anything in white peace. They don't have any terms they have to follow, except maybe a meme term here and there. So our goal was to, in pushing these terms, try and generate some political activity that I think has been stagnant in this game for a little bit.
Okay. Um, how involved has the fighting pacifist been with peace terms lately, or throughout the whole war, in fact?
Well, fighting pacifists, they declared their neutrality at the beginning of the conflict. Um, they've been talking with us, and I'm assuming they've been talking with Carthago to try and bring an end to the conflict. It's obviously difficult for them, for two of their allies to be fighting. So I've been appreciative of their feedback throughout the war and their advice whenever they offer it. I'm assuming Carthago is grateful for them for the same reason. I don't know why you wouldn't be, but they've been doing that, and yeah, they haven't offered to fight for either one of us. So
Um, what was the fighting pacifist response to the terms? Did they ever say anything to anyone in House Stark, like, "Yo, what the fuck's going on here"?
they did happen to have some questions that we discussed privately. Uh, they they were a little concerned about the food term and the term for Legion that we had originally.
So there's three components of the terms that it seems like Carthago gets hit from. Um, they, 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 they get they get it from all sides here. One is that they have to pay 17 billion essentially. They have to do it before the rebuild, and then they're cut off from food for 2 months. Wouldn't this like economically cripple them for the foreseeable future?
In the initial terms, assuming Carthago for some reason would have just accepted them outright, those would have been the values. 17 billion in 2 months without food, sure. Of course, since proposing the initial terms, we've taken a couple of them away, so we're not looking at the food term anymore. We're not looking at 17 billion in reparations anymore. So no, I don't think as they currently stand, it would economically cripple them.
Well, as it currently stands, but what about when they were first proposed? Well, maybe you can clarify something here. Were these terms? Was this a draft, or were these actually like the first real offer? Exactly. At what point of the peace process were these terms brought up, like officially declared?
These were brought up at the outset of peace talks whenever Starfuse approached Davith and Piggy, I believe. We went into the peace talks, we went into the start expecting Carthago to basically tell us what they found acceptable and not immediately. At which point we would have reevaluated, happily negotiated with them to reduce terms or items they found lackluster for them. They decided to take a different approach and broadcast it immediately. So it is what it is, and we're still working on getting a finalized set with them.
Okay. So, how long were House Stark and Carthago allies under Nexus?
Um, Gosh, well, let me see. I don't have the numbers right off the top of my head, but I can pull it up.
It was years, wasn't it?
Let's see. We joined Nexus in July of 2020, and I believe in 2022 we separated from Nexus.
For nearly like 2 years there, and
Yeah.
so despite being buzzed arms for 2 years, like this war still happened, and like y'all were still willing to, even though it was just an initial first offer, y'all still wanted to levy these kinds of terms against them. No former camaraderie there at all.
I don't feel any form of camaraderie with Carthago. No, I think we've been separated long enough that there's no particular reason for anybody on either side to feel that.
that's basically about it for me. Take questions from the audience.
Yeah. How much time do I got left?
I think we're about halfway done. I think you came on at 9:21. It's 9:22 now.
Yeah, I got time then.
9:29.
My wife won't kill me yet.
Yeah. Okay.
Any plans on an olive term? No. I don't think color bonuses do enough in the game to really warrant terms revolving around them at the moment. I think if the bonuses were higher, you would probably see more terms based off of them.
Kev seems surprised that it was House Stark that approached Carthago. Do you have any commentary to add to that?
Yeah, we're basically getting ready with Guardian to roll Rose in the Florida Civil War. Kev might not be aware of those plans, but that's what's going on. So. Are you referring Beta? Are you referring to terms House Stark proposed when Blackwater and Clock hit Oasis and Swamp? I do recall, I believe it was during that war, we approached some alliance that was on Olive dragging down the bonus with reparation term, asking them to pay us the difference that they basically dragged the bonus down for how long they were on there in exchange for them leaving. But certain members of that coalition were not willing to wait around to see that through, and there were certain members in Swamp and Oasis that were so against reps that it wasn't going to go anywhere. But I do recall Carthago and House Stark trying to do something like that.
What are the damages on this side exactly? Like, how many billions have y'all done to each other?
Let's see. Looks like in total there's been $77 billion worth of damages. We've dealt 56.5 to Carthago's side. They've dealt 21.5 to ours. Probably would be higher if they declared more wars against the Guardian nations.
Yeah, so like even if they did pay like the full 17 billion, it still wouldn't, like, you're still in the hole a lot. Anyways.
Tally, I don't believe there will be a reset relations term. I don't like those type of terms because it's natural. If you're gonna reset relations, I think it's something that has to occur naturally instead of basically trying to force it to happen through a peace term. Hey Kev, that's a great question. Yes, we're going to be trying to do more proactive wars and being more active in FA. That's a big goal for us this year. And it's one of the reasons we split from Syndicate. Yeah, we're just looking to try and bring some excitement back to the game a little bit.
All right. Well, I think that's about it. Darth the Taxi, thank you so much for coming in and filling in for Star Views. Anything else you want to say before you depart?
Yeah. get fit or you're gonna die when the Russians invade.
True. Well, thank you so much,
But
Dr.
yeah,
Taxi.
thanks
You
for
have a good
having me
night.
on. I'm always happy to cover for Starfuse when he forgets he has plans.
Is this a common occurrence within how Starfuse makes plans and then has to quit because he had other plans?
Actually, yes. We have like an internal radio show that he's had to reschedule a couple of times because he forgot he had something going on.
Yeah, just the way you said that line made me think this has been a frequent occurrence.
Yeah.
Again, thank you so much, Dr. Taxi.
Yep, no problem.
All right. Um, he says, Dr. Taxi says something interesting there, though. I want to give a commentary to, which is, he said when it comes to reset relations, that kind of happens naturally. Um, I shared the story before, but I'll share it again. I actually had beef with a guy, and this is the full story. Um, I had a real life plugs in the war moment with reset relations terms. Okay, so this was back in this was 2017. Okay, this was early 2017. There was this guy I've been beefing. My dryer is. You guys heard that? What a sensitive mic. Yeah, my dryer is done. Early 2017, there was this guy I've been beefing with. I'm going to call him. I'm going to call him Mickey. Mickey did not like me. And I don't know why he didn't like me, but he didn't. We was in an apple orchard once, and he threw an apple at me and hit me really hard in the stomach with it. And then on a second occasion, we was in church practicing for a play, and as I was walking in the sanctuary, he walked from the other side, approaching me. He pulled out a knife, pointed like took. It was like a I don't know what kind of knife it is, where the blade comes in and out. A switchblade. He took out a switchblade as he passed me up, took the blade out, pointed at me, and said, "Want to die?" And then he kept like walking past me. So just completely mogged me, right? And so I didn't like him because he didn't like me. And so um I'm a mama's boy. So I tell my mom everything. And so I was like, "Oh yeah, Mickey at church, he like pulled a knife on me today." And she was like, "What?" And I did not want her to, but she she went to the pastor about it and was like, "Look, Mickey like did this thing." And the problem was that Mickey was like really big in the church. He liked when he helped out with music stuff, with all sorts of stuff. Like he was like his social status in the church was very high and still is to this day. Um and so the problem was like pulling a knife is a big deal. So the only really remedy is when he tell me can't come back, but you're not going to do that. But I can't keep letting my son go. So I'm going to pull my. Basically, mom had concocted in her head that like this was going to be the end of the relationship between us and our church. Um, and so finally, after like the next service, uh, the pastor came and said, "Hey, let's go talk in the fellowship hall." So my mom, my stepdad, me sat with the pastor's wife, the co-pastor, his wife, and Mickey, and we talked it out. And they actually proceeded to gaslight me and was like, "Oh, Thalmor, you've like said these things in the past," and I was and like it was completely like I don't know if Mickey gave a sight of things, which also painted me in a bad light, or what. But like they were just straight up making things up about that I had said and done. And like I have a bad memory, but but the things they were saying didn't happen. And so I was like, those things didn't happen. Like, and so I forgot how the conversation went, but finally I went like, look, if we're all going to if the power of the church is going to come down here, how about me and Mickey, we just hug it out and agree to go forward and like anew, like leave the past in the past, and like go from there. Um, Basically reset relations, and they all thought it was a great idea. So me and Mickey literally had a hug, and genuinely from there on out, Mickey has always been good to me. At worst, he's been neutral, but there's been plenty of times where he's actually like tried to talk to me and stuff, and he's never had a cross word with me, never had a cross action with me. So reset relations as a term does actually work. Then you signed a reset relation agreement, and then it was fixed. Literally. So actually, it doesn't have to be organic. You really can just agree to reset relations with people, and it will work. Now, granted, my mom was a really big donor to the church as well, so they might have told Mickey, "Look, Mickey, you straighten up, or else, or else this family is going to pull their money, and we're going to be in trouble." And maybe for Mickey, once it was easy to be friendly, it was just easy to keep being friendly. But I mean, this was 6 years ago, and Mickey's always been good to me, so I have nothing bad to say. Problem solved. So it is what it is. Okay, thank you for listening to the Thalmor Real Life Drama Hour. Final call, politics and war. Any final topics for us to go over? It is a Pentecostal church. Zig is correct. Although I still wish to become Catholic and attend the local Catholic church at some point in the near future. Someone DM'd me. What did they DM me? The answer is yes, Kev. Poker tournament. Okay, I will say it again right now. Poker tournament. $50 to enter. It will be sometime this month after the 10th. $500 million pot. Who is interested in joining that has not already joined? I think Hillbilly is already a part of it. Yeah, 50 million to enter, 500 million to win. I think Hillbilly is already involved. If you are interested, DM MDM. Adopted a kid today. Are they normally alcoholics? Based, cat. Based. The kitty can have a little bit of alcohol as a treat. Okay. Final call, politics and war. Any final topics? Okay, moving on to real life. I got nothing. Cocaine was found in the White House, and they're not going to investigate, and that's basically it. Did anything else happen in real life that's really interesting? Because I don't think so. All right, I think we're done then. Yeah, slow 2 weeks, but that's okay. It'll pick back up. It'll pick back up. I think we're done. Zig, play the theme, and then in the recording when the theme is done. Let's get out of here.
Thalmor Radio. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Thalmor Radio. Stop.